Hi, I am Stephen J. Cochran, author and game designer. For the last 5 years, I've been working on my latest creation, Morticians, a tabletop role-playing game. On Living with Reaper, we'll be sharing insight into storytelling, the game's design, and lore. So sit back in that recovered lounge chair and crack open a ration. This is Living with Reaper.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Living with the Reaper. I'm your Reaper, Stephen J. Cochran, co-creator of Morticians TTRPG. How are you doing today? Today we have Facebook joining us along on YouTube and Twitch. If you like what you have to see, hit the like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you hate it, share it with your enemies. I'd like to take credit for that, but that's not mine. I actually borrowed it from the wonderful folks at No Focus Radio. I thought it is hilarious, so I threw it in there for fun. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take the map that we created in the last episode. I've got them preloaded in Roll20, and then I'm going to upload them onto the Roll20 screen. And we'll play around with some of the lighting effects, adding walls for the experience. And then if we have some time, we are going to create some player character tokens and some NPC tokens to populate in the map. But first, let's go over here and transition. There we go. Hey, slowly but surely. If you haven't had the opportunity to play Morticians yet, you can get a digital version of the encounter box on Drivethru-RPG. Go swing by, check it out. There are links in the comments for you to click on. We've got everything kind of broken up into $5 packs and a map and token collection thing that is pay what you want with the suggested $5 donation. The starting rulebook and the funeral director's guide to run the game are $5 each, and the character portfolios. You'll need all three of those together to run through the Crossroads, the Introductory Undertaking. So go ahead and swing on by to Drivethru-RPG and check that out now. Also, we are excited that you guys have been loving the Zombie Trail. We're getting a lot of views on YouTube. That gets uploaded every Wednesday. We're actually going to be recording tonight, and then I go through and add all the little bells and whistles to it. If you have any comments about it or have any questions about the Zombie Trail, go ahead and hit me up in the comments section. I'd love to talk about it. I've got a great group of friends. One of them is at Jax Marie Gaming, who you might know from Ladies of the Hoard. You can always check her out on Twitch. I know she's taken a bit of a hiatus this week, but next week she should be back at it. And her content's always really fun to watch. I enjoy watching her myself. So, without further ado, let's get started on Roll20. So, we're going to swing on by over here. We're going to do a little bloop and transition. There we go. All right, so I've already got it set up here in front of me, and over here on the side, I have a couple of the maps already uploaded. Save you guys some time not having to look at an upload screen. One of the things you'll notice right out of the gate is my map size. Now, this is the standard map size with the square grid on the map, and we're going to tweak this a little bit to take for it to accept our maps now. So we go over here. Make sure you guys can see my cursor. Yeah, that's all good. We're going to go up here to this little folder box here. We're going to click on that. This nice drop down box, and right here is the map we're on. We can tell because it is it's highlighted, and right here is the little bookmark saying that what we show our players is this map here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the gear here. Now, our height, you guys remember, our height is 12 to 13. And our width is 23 to 24. The reason why we go a little bit bigger is because hex maps require the map that you build to be a little bit bigger so you can size it right so that your pieces lay on it correctly. So we're going to take the width here, and we're going to drop that down to 23. And then for the height, we are going to bring that down to 13. I believe it was 13. And we're going to go ahead and save. Go back in. And the reason why I do it in this order is sometimes it won't save what you do. So if you do your sizes first, we're going to go down here, and we're going to switch out the square, and we're going to move it over here, and we want a horizontal hex, not a vertical hex. Now, that means is if you have the hex shape, the pointy sides are horizontal, and if it's this way, the vertical. So we're going to go ahead and bring that in. And we're going to adjust it because our hexes are supposed to be 3 feet. So if someone's using the ruler and they're trying to measure stuff out, it's 3 feet. We hit save, and then I go back in one more time. I know it's a lot of clicking in and out, but this is the best way I've seen to ensure that the changes that I make stay true. So we're going to hit dynamic lighting now. And this one's real easy. We're just going to click, turn it on. Save settings. Now, we're going to go ahead and click on daylight mode as well. And it's going to be, because this map's not going to be run at night, we aren't going to be creating light sources or anything like that. But we are going to play around with the walls a little bit. And I'll show you what the funeral director sees, and then I'll show you what the player sees. So we're going to go ahead and save those settings. We're going to close this out. And as you can see, the box now has changed its shape. And the first one I'm going to throw, I've got 3 of these. I've got 3 maps that I made. And the reason why I made 3 maps, and I'll show you the differences in a little bit, is I wanted to do roofs at different places. So we're going to go with the first one, which is what the players first see when they enter the map. We're going to drop it right here. Oops, screwed up. We're going to go ahead and delete that. Right now, I'm at the bottom. If you look down here by my head, it says it is on the tokens layer. What we want to do is we want to go down here to the map layer. So now that's on the map layer. And now we want to just drag and drop art. Give it a minute to think. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move the map. And I always put it in the upper left corner. Like so. Doop doop. And see how it automatically adjusts. And it's trying to force it to behave like a square grid map, even though it's a hex grid. From my experience, and I don't know if you've had different experiences, with my experience, this is true with all VTTs. Everyone builds off of the D&D maps, which is the square grid, even though there is a plethora of RPGs that use hex grid mapping. Even D&D's world maps are hex grids. And so everyone starts with the square grid and how that interacts with the images, and then afterwards they do the hex grid. And so its source wants to do square things, but we don't want it to do square things. One of the nice things about Roll20, though, is that they added this feature here. This is actually something I figured out about 2 years ago or so. You go and I right-clicked on it and bring up this little box, and I go over into the advanced options, and I turn it into a drawing because it's a map. It's a drawing. It's nothing special. I'm not dropping an item, and I'm going to put it back up into this corner here. And as you can see, when I saved this, I actually saved it as a 24, even though I set this up as, so you see this black stuff right here. This right here is the void of Arkenforge that I overstepped when I saved it. I'm gonna slide this over here. It's a drawing. It's no longer going to try to fight me on this. All I do, I'm going to take this corner here and I'm just going to stretch it out. Drop it. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and we go back to advanced because it is a drawing, and then we're going to hit lock position. And so now it's not going to float around. It's not going to move on us. This is where it's at. And you can tell, like, from the map, everything's kind of really dark. It's a little gray. And the reason for that is there is no tokens on the map that have eyesight. So it is going to be black like this. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to the tokens. And I have a token here. We'll just throw in our buddy Scully. Drop Scully in there. He's reshaped. Scully wasn't actually built for being a token. He was dropped in for other uses. We got Scully in there. Let's go ahead and click on him. We get our little box here. We're gonna hit the gear here. One of the things you always want to remember when playing with tokens is ensure that whoever's going to be controlling that token, if someone has joined the game from outside, or if you have a group around a table and everyone has a mouse, that we give control to the players if it's a PC, and that we don't give the control to the players if it's an NPC. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to say for reasons, all players here have access to moving Scully. We're going to go into dynamic lighting, and Scully has visions. He can see. Now, if you're doing a map where you're in a cave or it's nighttime and your characters have fired a safety flare or using a flashlight or a torch or some kind of mechanism to illuminate their surroundings, you can come down here to token emits light. And that one is always fun. You click on that, you turn it on, and then you get to set how much light it's emitted. Now, you remember we went back there and we set the hex to 3 feet. So you go brightness distance, right? And let's say they have a torch, and a torch uses, I believe it illuminates for 6 feet. And then divisible, everything's divisible by 3. It emits a low light. And that low light is going to be it's a total of 15. So it's going to be 9 on the low light. So 6 bright and then 9 of the low light. How much brightness? I always like to turn my low light down. And that's a personal preference. Play around with the lighting to see what you like. Now, you could do color choices for the light color. I go transparent. Sometimes I was playing around in the past and I've done like yellow and oranges and things like that. And what I find is that the color just makes things darker. It fights with the beautiful map that you've already drawn. So I tend to just keep it transparent. And then right underneath it shows us right here that it's going to be 15 feet of light. And we're going to save settings. So now that we pop back, we're on the token layer. You can see how everything kind of lit, has lighted, lighted. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna play around with this is kind of a small home, but we're going to play around with the walls. So we're going to go over here. We're going to hit the light button down here in the lower left. We're going to go up here to, I want to make sure you guys can see all this. We're going to see where it says draw. And then it gives you these options. Go freehand, or you do pin and line, and that's my preference, is a line, because I can just do drops. And a lot of the maps that I have such a angular structure that the pin and line works best for me. I never like what color it gives me. I always like using yellow, and then I do thin lines, and these are going to be walls. Now, what's really cool about Roll20 is that if you want to do like windows that don't open, or basically it's a rock or some kind of barricade that's kind of low, maybe it's an object that's only 2 or 3 feet and your characters are 4, 5, or 6 feet tall, they can obviously see over the rock, but they might not necessarily be able to walk through the giant rock. So they have this transparency feature, which is always fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to do walls. I'm going to jump in and kind of get in a little closer. There we go. We're going to zoom in here. Just got a text message from my wife, who's on the road, and she's at her first stop, and I'm always excited. It rained last night, so there's a little bit of worry of being on the road. Everything's wet. Okay. So we're going to play around with some walls here. This is the entrance to the house. It looks like an awning, but it's actually the entrance to the house. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start. We're going to put a dot there, and now you see how I've created a line there. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more here. So I put a thin line there, and I left this open. And so what you can do is you leave it open, and you can add a door here that's either locked or open or however you want to play it. So we're going to go through, and we're going to finish building our square here. So we're going to go through, and we're going to just finish this whole thing right here. And I like to put my lines on the inside a little bit so that players can see a little bit of the shape. And I'm not going to put a door for right now. We're going to do that another. That's done. I'm going to go back to the token layer and the selection here, and we're going to zoom back out so you get a full picture. So I don't know if you notice, if you can see this, but from where Scully is here, you have these black lines, these shadows here. And that is supposed to be what Scully can't see. So as he moves, those lines move. And this is, your funeral director screen, so you can look and see everything and drop things in as you wish. But we can go ahead and pop over real quick, and I'm going to jump in. And we're going to rejoin as a player so you can kind of see what your players are going to be able to see. So rejoin as player. It's going to open and populate here. And see, now there you go. This is what the player is going to see. So they're going to start right here. They see the car, they see the house, and as they walk up and get closer. Now this brings me to, so as the farther back you get, your view is farther, right? You can see around objects better. The closer you get, that your view becomes more and more limited, which is a really great feature. Is one of the things that Roll20 does well. Now, this type of map live in person with everyone around the table is fantastic. People really, really love it. It allows funeral directors to drop in scary surprises or so there's this anticipation of what's on the other side of the wall. What's on the other, how is it going to be friend, foe, or gift, right? So by limiting the field of view, it really adds a sense of anticipation for your players. However, if you're live streaming, got to remember how big this map is. So when we do Ladies of the Hoard, we make the map screen bigger, and we make their images smaller so that the viewers can watch the map. And how are they watching? Are they watching it on their cell phone? Are they watching it on the TV? I like watching it on TV, but most of our viewers watch on a handheld device. So you got to remember, this is what they see, as it gets smaller, and most of the screen is black. Excuse me. Most of the screen is black. And from a storytelling viewer point of view, that is boring. So, that's kind of the pros and cons. A pro when you're playing with people is it's really exciting to kind of, move around and everything. I have some players that even when they're playing live, they're not a big fan of it. I got some players who absolutely love this feature. So play around it, see what your table likes, and go from there. So that's just a little bit about how the walls work. So let's go ahead, and we're going to come rejoin as the funeral director. So we're going to head back to the funeral director screen, and it pops back up. 20, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So what we're going to do is I want to open up the screen here, and I want to make another encounter. And I just want to duplicate this map, but I want to duplicate the map in lighting. I don't want to duplicate objects and tokens, and I don't want to duplicate the GM info. I just want to kind of duplicate the background of it. So I go duplicate it, slide this over to here. So when I go into view as a player, this is where we'll end up, and we click on it, and we should have the same dimensions of the. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to go back to the map editor, map screen here, and one of these things. So I wanted to show you what the inside of the house looks like. And all of this was modules that were acquired through Ark-in-4. If you weren't here last episode, we went step by step. How did we build the map? So we're going to drop this map in here, and you're going to see why I'm doing two different maps. We're going to go back to is a drawing. Up in the corner, and then again, I did the exact same thing with this one as the previous. I saved it too big. So slide this over to there. Then we're going to stretch this out. So we're going to lock it in place. All right. So we're going to drop Scully in here again. I almost did it again. So you got to be careful not to drop tokens and objects on the map layer or the GM layer, because then you are not going to be able to interface with it. So you always have to be mindful about what you're doing. So we're going to go over and we're going to go to the token layer, and we're going to drop Scully in here. There we go, Scully. Let's remember to update everything. So we're going to say all players, and then we're going to give him vision, and then let's say he's emitting a little bit of a torch here, just like before. 6 feet, low light. I'm going to do 9 feet. Bring that down. Settings. There we go. Now we're going to just jump in here real quick, and we're going to double check our dynamic lighting. So dynamic lighting is on, and it is daylight mode. Save that. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the light setting, just like we did before. And we're going to do pin line, pin walls, yellow. I am a creature of habit. This is what we're going to do here. Go ahead and zoom in. Okay. So there's a back entrance and there's a front entrance. What we're going to do here, we're going to drop this here. We're going to go right in the middle of the wall here. And when I put my last drop down, I right click and it says, okay, you're done. We get it. Boom. And as you can see, the shadow popped up and is showing us the shadow. I'm going to go across to the other side of the door here. Try to hit these middles. There we go. And we're going to right click again. And so now it's done. And now for the fun part. And I really enjoy doing caverns and industrial complexes and warehouses where I'm adding a lot of maps for the players to kind of pop through and do. So let's see here. We're on the left bar here. Right under the pencil, there's a T. Under that T, it says lighting. Now, if you're in like a cavern or something and you're dropping torches or some kind of light source, or you're in an industrial building inside where there's no natural light, there's no light coming in, and you have artificial light, you'd hit lighting and you would drop these torches on the lighting level. And then when you're on the player level, it illuminates. You can do some really fun stuff with that. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. Click that. We're going to hit place lighting. Okay, and then we've got this nice little torch here. So I'm gonna drop a torch just to show you what kind of fun stuff you can do with the torch. So the torch is there. Go up here to the arrow. Now we're gonna click on the torch. and it brings up kind of a similar box like we had with our tokens. So what's really fun about this, we'll go down here. So it's a bright light. I like turning the bright light off. Just like working with low emitting light, we want to make this kind of a short. So we'll say it's only 6 feet. Excuse me, keep scratching my nose. All right. Now this is what's fun with the lighting. You click on this, right, and we'll say red. Save set. So now it's producing all this red light, and I think that's a little much. So we're going to go back in here. Oh, 26. No. We don't want 26. We want 6. There we go. Total light should be 6. Why are you saying 20? Light. Okay, total light should be 6. Save settings. Okay, now it's gotten dimmer. I'm going to go ahead, Control C, Control V. So now I've got 2 of them. I'm going to move this one right here. I'm going to turn it into a drawing. Move it right here next to it. Now I'm going to go down, keep all the same settings. I'm going to do a blue. And over here, pop back over here. Now, this is our character moving around here. Built the wall. I'm going to throw down, back, we're going to hit the light one more time. And under where it says place light, we're going to select place a door. Going to ask you restrict player movement, and you want to say yes on this. So what happens is now players can't move through the walls, they can't move through the doors, which is the important thing. You got to open up a door before you walk through it. Corners and doors, that's where they get you. So yeah, and we're going to drop it right here. Go up to the arrow here and delete that. Need to be in the light section. Here we go. Click on the door, place door. Now you have a selection up here in your door. It could be a secret door, a locked door, or an open door. We're going to say it is a closed door that we're placing. We're going to drop it right here. Go back to this arrow here. And we're going to grab it, and we're going to take this little dot here that they have, grab it, and we're going to just connect it to the yellow line that we laid. Same thing from here. There we go. And so now we have a clear blocked vision. So the door's closed. I'm going to swing over the token layer. So that red and blue that was in there earlier is now gone. I'm going to jump into rejoin as a player. Ding. Okay. So zoom out here to get a better view of what's going on. 90%. Okay. So again, just a reminder that your viewers that are watching you, if they're watching on a mobile device, all that blackness is boring for them to see. But for your players in the space, it's exciting. So we're going to take Scully here, a little NPC, and we're going to walk him over. I love how the shadows move when you move the character here. I'm going to drop him right there. And Scully's going to use one of his turns, and he's going to open the door. And he's going to walk into the house. And now he has a lighted experience. There's the red light. There's the blue light there. He's inside the house. We can even zoom in. Like I said, this was a very small house. And in hindsight, I wish I made it bigger, because a single one of these chairs should be the size of a hex. To show you how big it is. And as you can see, we put that wall there, so from outside the players can see that it's wall, from the inside the players can see that it's wall, and then you go out in the backyard, and then that's how you drop doors. And you set walls. in a map for the player's experience. And we are actually in Ladies of the Hoard on roll 20. So what we can do, because this is always fun, we're going to hop over. I just built... I built this one here for the last stream that we did. Why don't we go check it out? And so NPCs that I had created that are dead, the big boss that they fought, and as they move around, so if you put the ladies on this side of the screen here, we're going to jump back in. Player view. So all these black lines, those were rocks that I put in the game. And the ladies of the Hoard showed up. They started on this side of the rock. And then I had several of these guys. Oh, and I'm a player, so I can't touch it. I had several of these NPCs that they had to fight on the other sides of the rock. So as they moved around the battlefield, I had monsters popping up at them, attacking them. This guy here wasn't even on the map. I actually had him off the map altogether, and I dropped him in at the last minute for the big boss fight. So that was fun. So how did I make these creatures? And so what I want to do is I want to show you how I make NPCs tokens for all the different games that I play with. Now, what I'm about to show you uses other people's art. Full disclaimer, if it's for a live stream that we're doing, I'll either ask my players to send me art that they would like to use. Most of the time, though, the art that we use is created by Mary Estelle, who is our lead artist of most of the arts of the black and white Mortician style that you guys all know and love. That is her creation, or her style, I should say, of doing the art. So when we have time and we have the ability to do it, I'll ask her to draw tokens for our players, so they get personalized tokens for us to live stream. Now lately she's been busy. We just wrapped up sending out all the materials to the manufacturer. We're really excited about that. Everything's at the manufacturer. The last of the comment emails came back. We cleared all of that up. So manufacturing has started today. We are so thrilled to get these encounter boxes out to our Kickstarter backers. And again, thank you guys so much for backing this project and making it a reality. It has been such a wonderful journey. It is so much fun to experience all this and to play with you guys at the public events and everything. It has just been fantastic. So a little diatribe there. Let me show you how I create a character or an NPC token for the games. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch over to Google real quick. And I do a simple Google image search. I try to avoid AI at all costs. I'm not a fan of the art style. I'm not a fan of the artist that it takes away from. I think when it comes to our artistic endeavors, AI is a great resource to kind of inspire you. But after that, the artist should be creating in the real world or on their computer using programs like Krita, which I'm about to show you. And I look at AI like a painter who uses a photograph as the source material for what they create in the real world. And it's great for that kind of tool, but utilizing it for public consumption or trying to, say that this is your artist, it just rubs me the wrong way. I am pro artist first. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Google And what are we talking about here? This outpost, this house that we just created, and we dropped in Roll20, is along the way between Clearwater and Scavenger's Hold. And I think we decided, I think it was cultists, right? We're doing cultists. So a group of cultists is hijacking the Union's trade representatives. So what we're going to do is we are going to type in post-apocalyptic, and then post-apocalyptic cultist, right? Hit enter, hit images, and I try to do these things in safe search. I'm being careful what I'm looking at here, and really we just start looking at some of the artwork. So this is ArtStation. Let's see here. Images may be subject to copyright, so just let you know. And I'll pick artwork that I think looks really cool, and I will download it. There. And then I'll download it. I'll have that image. It has to be a certain size and image, so the JPEGs that they have on websites aren't really that big of a problem. When I use an artist's image for a live stream, I try to get in contact with that artist, and regardless of whether or not I'm able to do that, we always try to put their name in the roll credits at the end to make sure that the artist gets credit for their work, because exposure doesn't pay the bills, but it's the most that I can do for them at this time. When we have the opportunity, we definitely pay for art. We've got 3 artists that we currently are paying right now, and their art is inside the encounter boxes that you can see the digital versions of their artwork if you purchase the digital version on Drivethru-RPG, or if you're one of our backers and are expecting an encounter box. We are going to be selling those encounter boxes on our webpage, but their art and their notoriety that is in there, we paid them for their time and their services, because we really appreciate artists. My wife always likes to say that I don't know if all this stuff popped up, but it was interesting if it did. She likes to say, I buy art supplies from local stores because I want to keep art supplies available locally as I need them. So she refuses to purchase things on Amazon for that. And it's like, yeah, I want access to human artists. I better be damn willing to pay them for their time, if that's the hill I'm going to die on. So let's go over here. And we are there. Let's see. This. And what I want to check out is I'm going to bring up Krita. Give me a moment here while I fiddle down with the fiddle of the fiddle. So you guys should be able to see Krita, and then I'm going to bring up Krita on my screen here. So this box right here with the hex in it is 500 pixels by 500 pixels, and I found that this is the best size for playing around with images. Excuse me. Playing around with images. And the hex fits perfectly inside the hex on Roll20, which is how we can say that the character tokens and the maps that we have at Drivethru-RPG, even though we still are working through getting them sold on Roll20 Marketplace, we do know that they work on Roll20. Everything was tested on Roll20, and the tokens were built specifically to be dropped into Roll20. So we have this hex here. It's just by itself and it's boring. What we need is... So we're going to open this up and make sure you... Okay, and we're going to pick artwork that was originally... So I've got a file open you guys can't see. I'm going to be picking artwork that was created by Mary Estelle. And What we'll do is, I will show you guys how we did Ariana here, because I think I have, yeah, there we go. We have Ariana's, so here we go. Open that up. Now we've got Ariana on our screen, and I'm going to just real quick save as. I'm going to do this as a test. So here's Ariana's picture. It is a hand-drawn picture. So Mary Estelle takes her canvas. She sketches out what she wants to do. She uses source material. She uses different images. She sketches it out. Then she inks it. We go back and forth on the inking process, and then we take the finished product and we put it in a scanner and we scan it. So all of our artwork that is created by Mary Estelle is created by hand, scanned, and then digitized. This is kind of the process of what we do. So she does these black and whites, these wonderful black and whites here. But we can't just cut and use that. All the colors are off. So what we'll do is I'll duplicate the background. I'll hide the original so I don't mess with it. Now I've got a copy of the background on Krita. I go up here to filters, adjust, and then levels. The adjustment box popped over to another. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's another windowed box that you guys can't see. And make adjustments to the levels. And what you'll see is the blacks get blacker and the whites get whiter. And I'm not going to bore you by going step by step cleaning this up. But what I'll do is, here, is now I'll go through and all these blemishes. That is definitely the wrong brush. And I'll go through and I'll clean up all the little blemishes that we don't want. So once we clean it up, I'll go through and make sure that the whites are whites, the blacks are blacks, all the little detail is acceptable. I'll go back to the hex that we have sized here. Click on it. I'll use this little magic wand here. Here we go. On it. Okay. Copy the selection. The layer. Hop back over to here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Right on top of it, we're going to paste this layer. Arrow. There it is. Hey, Mr. Arrow. We're going to do it again. There's that. That off, because we're going to use that later. To bring her back. Make her opaque. Correctly, we want to make her on top of X. Go over to the nice little size box. Make sure we're on here. We click her. We got our boxes letting us know that we can resize. Okay. Or grab this bottom box and just bingo, bango. Now, if you are a digital artist, I am not. I am a writer by trade. You are a digital artist and you're seeing what I'm doing. You're like, oh my God, why are you doing it that way? Why? This is how I figured it out. I just kept playing and playing and playing and playing until I got it. If you're an artist and you know a better way, please hit me up in the comments. Be like, dude, that is the hardest way you can do it. Here's an easier way. I always have I'm always willing to get advice from others. So here we go. And then I'm going to zoom in here. I want right there. Come on, give me that arrow. There we go. We're going to make her bigger. And there we go. Now we're going to lose the bottom of that braid there, I think. Because we want the head to fill as much of the space of the hex as possible so that it reads on the screen and on the maps for our viewers. So I want proportions to look good. That's about the right size. Move her just a little bit more. And what I do is I'll put a colored line around it. So I don't want to move her because a good section of this will turn color. So I want her close to that top line there. Now we turn on that size there. We click to make sure we're still on her. Right click and whoopsie daisy. Control Z. Up. Come on. Control Z. Control Z. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, he said. Figure out what I did wrong. Oh, bother. Well, I won't waste you guys' time while I fix this and do it all over again. But needless to say, the end result looks like this. So that's what the end result will look like. We save that to file. And what we're going to do is we're going to head right back over to Roll20. And as you can see, when she gets dropped in, she fits in that X perfectly. Perfect. So that's how we created all of our PC tokens and how we created our NPC tokens so that they would fit on. Dun, dun, dun. Did you know that all Morticians start out with a smock, a leather smock, and a cleaver? Now, the leather smock is designed so that whatever gore they get on their chest, they can just hose off, and the cleavers are designed to decapitate, maim, and destroy all zombies that get in their way. I love it. I love killing zombies. I love spending my time killing zombies. So just a little bit of a reminder. I'm going to see if I can't pop these up. We've got, I wonder, ooh, that'd be fun. Okay. Transition. We have back episodes of the Wolf Pack, Ladies of the Hoard, and now the Zombie Trail live on YouTube. Hours and hours and hours of content to sit back and watch. It's a hell of a good time watching different groups of people navigate through the zombie apocalypse, killing things, dealing with scavengers, dealing with raiders, dealing with bikers, dealing with zombies, and dealing with cyborg zombies. It is a load of fun, so you have to check that out. And then let's do Patreon. There we go. Postmortems. Let's do that. Let's see how that looks. F10. Ah, yes. And then on Patreon, if you are a fan of Ladies of the Hoard, you need to check out the postmortems. After each encounter, we sit around, we do a round table, and we talk about what we like, what we don't like, how we feel about the story, what we feel about the equipment that we've got, the encounters. It's a load of fun getting to know the players a little bit more and their zombie apocalypse experience. So definitely check out the Patreon. Links are all in the comments. And then last but not least, I would be remiss without once again talking about the encounter box that is available at Drivethru-RPG. Go over to our Drivethru-RPG and type in Crossroads, the Introductory Undertaking, and it'll pop up. Or Cox and Media LLC, or Morticians, TTRPG, Crossroads. It definitely populates when you do the zombie apocalypse. Get your friends together if you guys enjoy the zombie apocalypse and killing the zombs. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. Can't wait to see you guys next time. You have a lovely day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.